It's NBC Sports Radio and NBCSportsRadio.com. Thanks for being with us. This is Speaking of Sports. I'm your host, Jim Daniels, here every Sunday morning at this time to take a slightly different look at the sports world, shove the box score aside, and look at some of the stories and individuals that are making news in the sports world and other things making news in the sports world, too. Right now, we turn to the professor. We get the opportunity to talk the business, the deal-making, the endorsements, the big-time dollars of sports with the professor, Rick Horrow, who talks to us every Sunday. Good morning, sir. How are you?
What an opportunity it is. I am going to the Honda Classic today, part of that committee, and Sergio and Adam Scott and Ricky Fowler make us forget Tiger Woods, at least for a while.
At least for a minute, yeah. It looks like this could be a two-man battle. These guys will be paired together. It should be fun going down the stretch. Ricky Fowler is going to be there. We'll talk some PGA. It's in the Horrow Sports Brief here this morning. I want to get to that in just a second. But I guess the question this week is, where's Jordan Spieth?
Yeah, well, it was always planned that he wouldn't do this tournament, and it's hard to know why, especially since the WGC tournament in Miami, just down the road next week. I guess we should call it the Trump, but then we'd lose some support. We'll get into another discussion. So I won't do that. But, the bottom line of all of this is this was pre-planned. A lot of people are now seeing him as the savior of various tournaments. So when he comes, there is a 15% bump, seriously, that 20 maybe. And frankly, if he comes to defend, it's even higher, and he can't go everywhere, I guess is the answer.
Right. As far as the scores go, Sergio and Adam Scott at 9 under par. A little bit surprising to see Rory McIlroy at +4 and nowhere in the hunt in this tournament, but that's more the business of the scores. Let's talk to the business of sports, and while Steph Curry is playing at an unbelievable level again last night, 46 points, I mean, he's just absolutely amazing. He says that he is quick to admit that he looks up to LeBron James. Why is that, Rick?
Well, because LeBron has a more established business foundation right now. Doesn't mean he will be all over time. LRMR Marketing, the company that, he jettisoned Johnny Manziel. It was all things Cleveland, and now LeBron, obviously an international corporation, Nike, Kia, all of those big deals. And Steph Curry has Brita Water, and his Under Armour equity deal is wonderful for him. He's such a great deodorant. I'll tell you, if he keeps hitting those threes at that prolific level and goes back-to-back MVPs, he'll be up there. But the bottom line is both of them are doing really well. Let's not hold a bake sale for either one of those guys.
Yeah, probably not anytime soon. Now, you mentioned you're going to the Honda Classic a little bit later on today, the PGA Tour's first stop on the Florida swing. We're all done with the West Coast swing, but they've got a pretty impressive economic and charitable impact that has some pretty staggering numbers behind it, doesn't it?
Yeah, they lead with those numbers, which is really important. So, nearly $14 million total in charity in the last few years. But they raised $2.5 million for charity this year. Jack Nicklaus Family Children's Charities. He lives 10 minutes down the road here, and that's $50 million of economic impact. Most important, this is one of those tournaments that brings the region together. South Florida, as you know, Miami, Lauderdale, Palm Beach, they kind of don't talk to each other, and you see it at major events. The Super Bowl bid is one that brings them together. This is another one. And it wasn't a dead tournament that had no momentum, and generally kudos to him. The director, Tiger, started getting involved in it, Phil is now in it, and now it's a must-attend on the way down to the Doral tournament next week.
Rick Horrow talks the business of sports with us every Sunday here on Speaking of Sports. Let's go to Sports Illustrated now. Wow, offering a virtual reality content of its annual swimsuit edition. Is this finally what we've been looking for our whole lives, Rick? That's the swimsuit edition is finally going to come to life?
Speak for yourself. There may be some people listening that I don't want to listen to my comments, but I think we understand what we're saying. The one big thing about the swimsuit issue that made it get bigger is doing a virtual reality shoot of the swimsuit issue and then distributing it. The Sports Illustrated content guys are saying, we're going to do this now on a regular basis, and they wanted to pick a topic that would maximize distribution. So what do? You pick the swimsuit issue. That's brilliant.
Now, let's talk a little baseball here because the Red Sox are doing something interesting. They're ditching the rest of baseball to create their own secondary ticketing platform, meaning StubHub, you're on your own. So I guess that means if you want a Red Sox ticket, you're not going to be able to go to StubHub. But the thing that I'm wondering here is, are they going to lead the way for other teams to where other teams are going to take care of their own secondary market because there's money to be made there?
Well, there's money to be made there. It's a brilliant marketing pitch. You can opt out. That's what baseball allowed, so it's not an issue there. But what they're doing, by the way, is they're charging normal 10% off the top for StubHub. That's part of the deal. But in this deal, 15% if you're not a season ticket holder, but 5% if you are. So what it is an acknowledgement by the Red Sox that they have a strong 25,000 person season ticket base that can't go to every game because they're regional. A lot of their fans live in Rhode Island, in New Hampshire, etc. So they're giving them the benefit of a discount rate by their own in-house service. It's brilliant.
You know what? I don't know if this is brilliant or not, but I love the idea in a really fun effort to try and increase season ticket sales, not to mention improve the fan experience. The Texas Rangers are giving season ticket holders a chance to get their season tickets for free, as high as $10,000 worth, by simply hitting a home run at Globe Life Park. I think this is something you need to go on a road trip here and do some investigating and just see how difficult it is to hit that home run.
Well, one guy already did it. $8,500 was his take on the deal. And it's random picks from season ticket holders who can show up and do it. So it precludes ringers like you from going there and winning and, giving it to a season ticket friend. Mm-hmm. And it allows people who really can't hit a curveball like me to go up there, try the experience, but yet they don't give it away. It's brilliant.
It really, I think it screams road trip for Rick Horrow, though. I mean, this is an investigative story we need to know more about.
And my standard offer to you is any trip that I'm on, you carry my bags, you get to show it.
All right, and we talked a little bit about golf already, but two of the biggest names in the world of golf are setting up to square off in a celebrity golf match leading up to this year's U.S. Open. And apparently, it's not the two that you would think. Well, it's one that you would think Rory McIlroy, but the other one is Ricky Fowler.
Yeah, and Ricky Fowler, listen, he's becoming more corporate. He's the next big guy now that Luke Donald isn't doing it to maybe win a major that gets him into the new status.
Right.
And if you remember the old Shell's Wonderful World of Golf and all those match play deals, Tiger had a few last decade. And these are made-for-TV events. It's very difficult to put them on because you've got to pay for the lighting. And the crowds aren't that big. The TV pays at nuts. You got to recover it. But these two guys may have a shot at being the rival, certainly the big three now with Jason Day and Jordan Spieth. And if Ricky wins a major, then he's there. And, of course, Phil is one of those that also is a candidate for this kind of event. So you may see these one-on-one events coming back.
All right, let's get to the ugly in the wake of global corruption. There's been surrounded by all kinds of ugliness and accusations and people being arrested. FIFA President Sepp Blatter is being asked for more transparency by media executives. I guess I should say the former president, Sepp Blatter, is being asked for that. But look how much transparency can you have? You can see that it's crooked. You can see that it's wrong, and they still continue to move forward to go to a city where they use slave labor to put on their event. I can't believe that this is allowed to happen.
Well, transparency coupled with doing something about it. So Gianni Infantino has said the right thing. Let's see if he follows up with it. Now there will be term limits and financial disclosures of salaries as well, and a professional executive board. All those three are things you do when you really want to change things. So you won. Let's see what happens. And by the way, the big deal now is the Europeans will control the future of the politics of this. So Qatar will have to see what happens.
Seconds left. Your favorite sports movie of all time?
Revenant.
What?
What?
The Revenant? What sport is that?
What? My friend.
Rick Horrow, thanks very much.
The natural.
That's mine too. Good one. Good. The Revenant. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks, buddy. That's great stuff.
Man.
There goes the professor on NBC Sports Radio.